While traveling through space, Jim suddenly realized that the spaceship he was on would take another 90 years to reach its new home. Seeing that everyone else was still in normal hibernation, he alone had been awakened prematurely for some unknown reason. Fearing he would grow old and die on the ship, Jim hurried back to his pod, hoping to re-enter hibernation. However, after waiting for a while, the pod malfunctioned again and automatically opened. Without wasting time, Jim rushed to the communication room, intending to send a distress signal to Earth, but the AI system informed him that the signal would take 19 years to reach Earth, and the earliest reply would take 55 years. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Jim headed to the control room, hoping to find help, but was denied access due to insufficient permissions. Unwilling to sit idly by, Jim grabbed a hammer, attempting to force his way in. However, the control room door was incredibly sturdy. Even using a welding torch left no mark. After trying every possible method, he still couldn't open the door. As a despairing Jim wandered aimlessly through the ship, he unexpectedly noticed someone standing at the bar across the room. Excited, he approached, only to discover it was just a robot. Completely defeated, Jim resigned himself to a lonely fate, but he refused to simply waste away. Since he couldn't return to hibernation, he decided to live in the moment and make the most of his remaining time. However, this carefree lifestyle lasted only a year, before everything felt dull and meaningless. His emotions became increasingly unstable, and the prolonged loneliness made him resentful of his unfair fate. Hopeless, Jim even began to entertain thoughts of ending it all. Fortunately, the fear of death ultimately outweighed his loneliness, and it was during this moment of hesitation that Jim, in an accidental glance, saw the angelic figure of Aurora, a sight that made his heart race. This rekindled Jim's hope for the future, and his lonely heart was captivated. From then on, Jim often spent time by Aurora's hibernation pod, but as he learned more about her, a terrifying idea began to take root in his mind. If he woke Aurora from her slumber, perhaps his own life would no longer be lonely, yet doing so would ruin her life. Torn between these thoughts, Jim's inner turmoil grew unbearable. In the end, unable to endure the loneliness any longer, Jim made his decision. As Aurora's hibernation pod began to open, his expression shifted from anticipation to dread, for he now realized his actions were akin to a murder, one without death.
Hello.